create a new place for you to explore it. The algorithm exporting what is important. Tech P a portion in accordance, but it's all anointed. We welcome you to come get a portion.
Join us.
No more everyday Bron versus Jordan. Jameis said the victory comes from the Lord, but we still prepare the horses. It's the podcast stable. We got more horsepower than Ralph Lauren. They go live and talk reckless, no reporting. I go live and talk facts, but they wanna report me. But that won't stop the context, the complex on my conscience for the record, so I will press recording. My story and his story, we so historic. Silver spoon from above, you mad about euphoric? We talk ball, talk bars, talk all. They talk clown, talk down, talk foul, no call. I am one, they tantrum, tech P, tech please. No referees, but the reference is reverence. So I guess then I earn my stripes and just treat me like the whistle. Stop and listen. It's a new episode to witness. The horses lined up like they competing for the Kentucky Derby. 30 for 30 high like the rappers where you see the jersey.
We don't see your jersey.
Come holla at me.
Young.
Yes, sir. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast stable. I am joined with Tech P. It seems he's named himself today, and there should be one other in here. Where did he go?
His mother is calling him behind the scenes, and so
Gotcha.
I think there may have been some type of COVID type of something going on or something. I saw him appear with a mask on very briefly, so we'll get him back added in if he is properly quarantined here shortly.
So for those who are new to joining and watching the show, we are talking about Nixon, or sometimes he goes as Jerome, or maybe he has a different name tonight. We'll see. I am Cam, and this is the podcast stable. We missed a lot of things. We got to recap. There's a lot of things that happened in the last month or so since the last episode. And I mean, I want to start off today with the Super Bowl halftime show.
Oh, wow.
I want to start off with, what was your reaction? There was a lot of mixed reviews. A lot of people said they liked it. They saw messaging, things of that sort. And there was other people who, say they weren't entertained, and that's not what you're supposed to use that platform for. So let's dive into that. Mr. Tech P, tell us your thoughts.
Well, I have a lot of thoughts, and this is just one portion of the show. So I should figure out how surgical you want me to be about this. Am I just sharing my high level view of it? What would you like?
You tell me your perspective. Was it good or bad? Did you enjoy it? If it was bad, what could have been better? If it was good, what made it good?
As an artist, I would say I don't look at art and think that it's fair for me to cheat others to explain to them what or impose my perceptions or view of the interpretation of it. I think for me, I can only speak for me, I did appreciate the art. And I do think that art is supposed to speak to the individual. And so I do think that it spoke to some, and there were others that it didn't speak to. And that's no different than when I'm listening to some other forms of music or looking at some other forms of art that I just don't connect with. And so that's not to say that those people are not here sending a message or giving their gifts or not talented. It's just that I haven't had an experience in life that helps me connect with that particular piece. And so as it relates to the halftime show, I do think I could relate to those things. And as the founder of Ontegration and the vision that I have to be able to create safe spaces for everyone, I do think that there were some messages in that, and primarily the message that I would feel comfortable sharing is that it's time for people to connect in an authentic way and turn the TV off. And so, what is
Yeah,
what's funny?
I'm laughing at turn the TV off. Yeah.
Yeah, turn the TV off. And so, I think there's definitely balance, but there's also right now what's going on in the internet and the interwebs and the social media spaces is that there's a lack of authenticity, in that there is a projection of normalcy of that lack of authenticity on the television as though these things are normal. Manti Teo,
Hold on, hold on,
shout
hold on,
out.
hold on. Hold on. How do we get? I mean, I'm listening and I know how we got there, but how we asked about the Super Bowl and now we talking about Manti Teo.
Manti Teo, I mean, a historic run for the Fighting Irish. I forget the year, it was probably somewhere around 2013-ish,
Yeah,
somewhere like
something like
that.
that.
And unfortunately, Manti found out at a certain point that the inspiration that he had been allowing to fuel and drive him turned out to be, I don't remember specifically, but I do remember it fell into the catfish category. He was being catfished.
Yeah, he was
And
being catfish.
America at that time knew clearly that being catfish was not a good thing. And so, with that being said, social media is catfishing, and they are admitting that they're catfishing. And I'm excited about it because last time I checked, people knew that talking to fake people and getting a response from fake people is something that we should highly question. And so right now we don't know who is who or real or fake. And so turn the TV off. Turn the TV off and go get connected with real community. Now, I actually have the ability to actually log in and go inside of Once Integration with social media where there's no confusion. And so I can see the difference. And so I'm inviting everyone out to come out, join social media. There's plans from free to paid, pick whichever one. But when you go in there, just know that it's really about, kind of like what we're doing right now. We're showing who we are. And so turn the TV off is how I'm going to close this. And from there, show us who you are. Come out and join us. That's what I think. That's what I got from the message.
So just to catch you up, Nix, you want to introduce yourself right quick? I didn't know what tell everybody what's going on.
Hold on. Are we quarantining or are we not? I mean, the mask on or off?
You're muted, by the way, too.
His mom is talking to. Hey, Nixon, tell your mom quiet on the set.
All right, it looks like he's gotta do something. So going off of that, let's go into the actual game, the Super Bowl game. What do you think that it says about the Chiefs? First off, what does their future look like? Pat Mahomes, did it affect his legacy? Does it affect where he stands in the current NFL and also all time?
Nixon, why don't you jump in, give us a little insight around, looks like we got COVID, there's something going on, and then answer the question, brother. Are you
Next,
mute? You
you're
muted.
muted. We can't hear you. Yeah, it says you're unmuted, but we can't hear you.
Oh, he's
All
gonna
right.
resume. Go for it.
Yeah, no, this is you. So, what do you think about Mahomes's standing after that performance? Oh, we can hear you now, Nick. So I can definitely hear you.
So at one point, Tom Brady was also 3-2 in the Super Bowl. What I think sets him back in the GOAT debate is both of those losses were blowouts. Brady never got blown out in the Super Bowl. Never. It was always a close game. I believe that he won 3 earlier in his career and then lost 2 to the Giants, and then won 4 more, and then won 3 more, and lost 1, and then won 1 more.
So are you saying that Pat Mahomes is your number 2 all time? Is that what you're saying?
As of right now, I have him under Joe Montana just because of his record in the Super Bowl.
Okay,
But
so
if he gets more than Joe Montana, if he gets 5, then he can be above Joe Montana for now.
okay. And then what do you think do you think he's the best quarterback in the league, or do you think there's, other quarterbacks better than Pat Mahomes right now?
I think Lamar, Josh, and Joe they had a better season than him. All time, they're not better than him, but this season, those 3 were better than him.
All right, so he's got Pat Mahomes going into next season as the 4th best quarterback in the league. Tech P, what do you think about the Chiefs, their future, Pat Mahomes' legacy and standing as current day would show you?
I think Pat Mahomes deserves the benefit of the doubt. Didn't they open the season up kind of with a rocky start?
No, they were 9-0.
Were they 9-0? Must have been the year before, I recall. Maybe I'm thinking about Baltimore. But I think he deserves the benefit of the doubt. I mean, I don't know what they're going to have around him. I haven't done the studying, but he's been amazing. He had a bad game, made some mistakes. I think failures and mistakes for champions usually call for them to reassess things, and so I think Patrick Mahomes should feel okay about himself as far as being a football player. I don't know about the rest of his life or what he's got going on. Travis Kelce, he may be done. He may be done.
And that's where I want to leap in, because this is the actual start to seeing if Pat Mahomes deserves the laud and the praise that you guys, I don't want to say you guys, but the media, the United States of America, pretty much all of the fans give him, because now this is if Travis Kelce retires, there's no more T-Swizzle to help you get through these playoff games, because we know there's been a helping hand and they've been working out their throwing motion. Not Pat Mahomes working out his throwing motion, the referees, to be able to throw their flags at the first sign of trouble, because we need to make sure that we can get Taylor to the big game. Once you get to the big game, it might not be the same thing, which we kind of saw on the field in this Super Bowl. Worst first half performance I've ever seen from a quarterback in the Super Bowl, and he lost him the game. He lost him the game because their defense played well. To me, they did the best you could for
number 62. Number 62 lost them the game. That left tackle, he got brushed right through that number. Was he the backup?
I think that's
I don't know.
Huh? Is that
no? That's it. No, this is a lineman, but no, none of that matters. He's been there all season. The only difference is the helping hand is not there. So when you don't have that helping hand to get through the playoffs, and your teams, we can debate about this, but is their team going to be able to compete with these other teams next season without Travis Kelce? They won a lot of one-score games, and I watched a lot of Chiefs games. It was a lot of questionable stuff going on. Will he be able to do it without the T-Swizzle influence? Because the last 2 years to me was T-Swizzle. The first one was him. And quiet as cup, Jalen Hurts has outplayed you in 2 Super Bowls. So um, right now he's not over Joe for me. He's not over Peyton for me. I would say prime for prime. When I watched Aaron Rodgers was a better quarterback than um, Pat. John Elway has a great resume as well, so he has a lot to prove to me, and he's around number 5 or number 6 on my list for
In
current
the league,
quarterbacks. Yeah.
in the
So
league.
yes, in the league, he's around 5 or 6 for me. I got Lamar, I got Dak, I got Joey Burrow, I got Josh Allen, and I have to put Jalen Hurts because they will not ban the tush push.
Jalen Hurts has
So
never been above 4,000 yards in his career.
he just won the Super Bowl.
He's never been above 4,000 yards in his career.
He doesn't play that way. He has an unstoppable move. The other day, I'm talking to my dad on the phone. He's trying to tell me about Kareem, unstoppable move. Jalen Hurts has the most cheap move, but it's being allowed. So I can't, restrict him. I can't say it's because of the tush push. I mean, I can't say that, but I can't disallow it because it's in the rules and they haven't banned it yet. So if you're listening, NFL, ban the tush push because that's not nobody wants to see that on every 4th down. Like there's no anticipation to that. So yeah, that's my take on that. What is your guys' take on the Eagles? Will they be starting a dynasty now? That team is built up pretty well. Can they start a dynasty, or will there be a team in the NFC East to take them out?
No,
Possibly.
the only team that will have a legitimate chance is the Commanders. The Giants, even if they draft Shadur, they're trash. The Cowboys, Dak gets back, throws 100 more picks, and then he's gone. He's trash. CeeDee Lamb drops 10 more passes, he's gone. He's trash. Everybody's gone. Except for Brandon Aubrey. He's the only good person on the team.
So
So,
Nick's is
so
scathing of the Cowboys.
yeah, and what I would say is I'm beyond the emotional attachment. This question was this question was about the Philadelphia Eagles, and what I would tell you is who cares about the Philadelphia Eagles? Who cares? Now I do like to see Jalen Hurts win a Super Bowl because I think he's a class act, and so I'll support big ups to Jalen Hurts, but to the Philadelphia Eagles, as a former Dallas Cowboys fan, I just can't do it.
Former?
Former,
Breaking
former,
news. Breaking news.
former,
Tech
former.
P has
Yeah,
disassociated himself
yeah.
from the Cowboys.
Yeah. The Dallas Cowboys are suffering from uh, horrible workplace culture,
Mm.
and I don't see. People will say, "Well, what about after Jerry? Well, we're going to get more Jerry." That's all his heirs have ever seen. Maybe we can, Dallas, we can go get that other daughter that he wouldn't claim and see if she can bring something fresh in. But I believe Jerry's paid her off so she can go away. And so, what I would have to say is there has to come a point where you have to draw the line with your actions. And I believe as an American, we are supposed to stand up and we're supposed to look at inefficiencies. Matter of fact, we have a new Department of Governmental Efficiencies. They're looking at a bunch of different things. I asked Elon to come check out Jerry. Elon, please come check out Jerry and figure out what he's doing that over the last 30 years has failed to produce any success relative to the other people in. How long has it been? Well, is there anybody else in the league that's had a longer drought than us or than them? And
What, the
so,
NFC Championship?
no, we don't. No, this is supposed to be about Super Bowls, right? Is that the question was about Super Bowls?
Oh,
And so,
Yeah,
there's
there's
teams
teams that
that's
have
never
never won a
been.
Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah.
no, I mean to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's
Right?
How long has it been since we've
30
been to the
years.
Super Bowl?
Lions have never made it. Cards
Lions
have.
have never made it. Yeah. Lions have never made it.
Listen, I don't know anything about being alive. I've seen it. I've seen it 3 times.
Hey,
I've seen
if we're denouncing the Cowboys, bro, I have to be honest. I've been a Ravens fan for 2 years now.
who?
I've been a Ravens fan for like 2 years now.
Hey, listen, this is what I would say. Lamar is exciting. They play a good brand of football, but I'm not going to discourage anyone from picking another team, but I'm not going to pick another team because it's just I'm going to be a fan of from
Okay.
1980 to 2025.
Yeah, a
Those
little
were the
bit.
years that I was a Dallas Cowboys fan. So I'm just entering in to my
Oh, not
it's
right
not even
now.
free agency. I'm no longer a fan.
Wow. So breaking news, Tech P. I mean, maybe if you guys understand who this is, he's finally severed the strings of the Cowboys that I've been telling him has been, you know, been weighing and
I'm
you know,
encouraging. I'm encouraging. I'm ideating on some business concepts that I don't want to let the cat out of the bag too soon. But we're going to have a lot of fun with the gross amount of incompetency that we see by the leaders of this franchise. And so, just imagine if there was someone who had a knack for creativity to come out and think about some fun things that we could do as former Dallas Cowboy fans that could celebrate our history of when we did win, but also provide a little bit of motivation maybe to Jerry and team to get it together. And so we've got to drive some discomfort to Jerry. Jerry is sitting too pretty. He can walk around Dallas and do all of these things that are unsavory, still have the most highest valued franchise in the league, don't do no winning, and for some reason, it's still all about Jerry. It's amazing. It's how I have to say it. And so, President Trump and I don't know what is Elon's title. I don't know. Elon, if you could do us a favor, please come and check out Jerry Jones.
all right. We got Elon Musk mentioned, we got the Trump mention. We're touching all areas today. What I will say about the Eagles being a potential dynasty, I say it's possible. The only things I see stopping it is that the Chiefs do not make it back. I think that Josh Allen, Joey Burrow, and Lamar Jackson could give them a good run for their money in the big game. And I think when we come to the NFC, I think let's see what the 49ers do. They still have a good culture and stuff over there. They had to figure out the quarterback situation because me personally, I'm not signing Brock Purdy for a large amount of money. I'm really not signing him for that much money, to be honest, because when it comes down to it, he could probably get you there. He did it before. But if he plays somebody who, performs, y'all are going to lose no matter how great the supporting cast is around him. So we're gonna see what the 49ers do. And there's one person who owns the Eagles. Even if Jerry is the GM, even if the coach is Schottenheimer, through thick and thin, when it's been Jason Garrett, Mike McCarthy, you name it, he has done it and made it look like he was supposed to do it. And he will be returning next season. We don't know with how much help, but either way, he goes in and he owns the Eagles. So that is the biggest hope in the
Who?
NFC.
Dakota,
Rain Dakota Prescott.
Dakota, America's quarterback.
Because
Now I'm
there's been
still
too much disrespect to him. And I'm
now
here to check all
don't
of
get me
it.
wrong. I don't. Jerry doesn't own Dakota Prescott. He is America's
Yeah.
quarterback, and so I feel a fan of Dakota Prescott. But Jerry,
Yeah, I don't support the Cowboys at all. But I know when this man steps on the field, he owns the Eagles. He owns them.
but I don't want to hear anything about owning the Eagles. They're the Super Bowl champions, and the Super Bowl's been canceled, as far as I'm concerned, for 32 years.
and
And
then
so,
you know exactly why it's been canceled is what I'm bringing fourth. I'm not saying they're going to do it because I don't believe in, Jerry not being able to sign free agents or let go of the people that he's drafted and this, that, and the other. And I don't know about Schottenheimer, and I don't know if they're going to address their needs, this, that, and the other. But what I do know is we are the team that will give them 2 losses.
Who is we?
Me and Dak.
Okay.
We are the team that can give them 2 losses. The rest of y'all do y'all's job on this schedule, and then they might not be a dynasty. Because if they get an away game in the playoffs, yeah, they lost to Tampa last year. So, yeah, they could be a dynasty, but I'm not betting on it. All right. With that being said, let's go ahead and switch sports. NFL recap is done. It's time to preview the NBA. And what is a better way to start off than with in Dallas at right before midnight? Luka is sent to the Los Angeles Lakers for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a first-round pick. I just want to know, what is y'all's guys' first reactions to the trade, and what do you think when you're, reflecting on it now for your latest look? I'm going to start with Nixon on this one.
Horrible. So really, the only thing I can think of is horrible. I don't know why they would do it. I don't know why. Maybe they just didn't want to pay him. They traded for Anthony Davis, who got injured in his first game. So that doesn't make any sense. And then when he goes back to LA, or when Luka comes to Dallas, he's gonna be injured. So I think he's out for 1 month, but Luka was averaging 28, 8, and 8
for his career.
For his career?
Yeah, that's what he averages for his career.
That was this season. But anyway, I don't know why.
All right. So Nix is confused. He seems distraught. Once I brought up the question, his energy changed. I want to take it over to Tech P, a longtime Dallas Mavericks fan. What do you think of, first reaction, and what is your latest look on the situation?
My first reaction, as not only a longtime Dallas Mavericks fan, but someone that's paid attention to, just sports in the market and transactions and free agent signings. It was a real head scratcher. And, the one thing I will say about it is, as business owners, you get to make the decision that you want. And it's obvious that Luka wasn't wanted here. And that is very, very shocking, especially considering that there's not been a free agent to sign a max deal in Dallas that I can think of in the entire existence of the franchise. There has not been a free agent to sign a max deal, leaving their original team to join the Dallas Mavericks in the history of the franchise. And so when you have someone like Ledbetter Luka that is adored, and then you send him away in the middle of the night because you don't want him, the question that I have is, why didn't you make that clear to all parties involved and go out and test the entire market to ensure that you were getting the highest value back? And so we didn't see that. And so we don't know if we got the highest value back. But these guys, people are allowed to make mistakes. So that's maybe just 1 or 2 mistakes. But then to turn around and treat the fans of Dallas the way that they have, kicking people out of the arena, trying to crash our guy Luka Ledbetter on the way out of town. Where I am with this thing right now is, I would like if If I can channel David Stern to come back and do some of that underhanded stuff that he used to do. I'd like for the ghost of David Stern to take this team, this franchise that's in Dallas right now, and move it to Las Vegas. Get them out of town. I'll take the Charlotte package. Let them go. We'll take a team in an expansion. We can have our name at the Mavericks back. But this ownership, from what I can tell, does not respect or appreciate the fans of Dallas. And so, long live the Don, Luka the Don. Forever, Dallas in my mind, except for these bozos who are not from here, somehow deciding in the middle of the night that they need to, let's just go give this away. Now, no shot to AD. We want AD to have as long and as healthy of a career as possible, but we don't know what else was available. And when people question that, you want to turn around and treat people as though they're not asking a legitimate question. And you kick people out of the gym. That's not that. To me, they can have it.
So, for me, I want to lay it out on the table to start. I have some biases. I'm consistent in these biases. I do like players. I will look past their injuries if they give me play on both ends and they execute in a way that is ethical and where they can play with and without the ball and be a team player. I do not like players. Yeah, they may be out there. They're getting stats, but it's usage. They have the ball all the time. They're always going to get their stats. They're supposed to be making people better, but the actual dependency, if we looked at a real life situation, you don't make somebody better by making them more dependent on you. You support them to become, independent, not independent per se, but learning how to play their own part. And the type of players that I don't like, I will consistently say, no offense to them. I'm not saying they can't play the game of basketball, but LeBron James, James Harden, and Luka Doncic, who hold the ball at the top of the key, and either they're going to go and score or they're going to pass it to you with 2 seconds left on the shot clock. Figure it out. If you miss, we need better shooters and da-da-da. If you make it, look at that pass. He set him up. When really that's losing basketball. And when you combine that with someone who is consistently overweight and not taking their training seriously, and it's lining up to where you have to pay him $70 million a year, and he's going to take over, GM, you're going to get fired eventually if we don't win, even if I'm not taking care of my body. Players, you're going to get traded away because there are going to be excuses made for said player. For me, it's a no-brainer. Get him out. I wouldn't start my franchise around him. Sorry. I was hoping for one day that LeBron will retire and I will become a Lakers fan again. And it has been ruined because there's I don't want to say anything mean. I'm going to just keep it very professional. There's somebody who is entitled to what his stats say versus actually giving the maximum effort. I'm okay if you lose, you give your maximum effort. Cool. But when you have that much talent and we see you don't take it seriously because you've been naturally gifted at what you've been doing, I don't respect it. I like Anthony Davis. When he heals up, the Mavs are real contenders this year. Max Christie, he's a great young player.
Bro, stop with the Max Christie stuff. I've been seeing enough of it on television. He's on the team. He's a serviceable player.
Yeah, he's good. He's a good player.
Yeah.
Look, picks are overrated. I'm sorry, but
No,
look at
I'm not advocating for a pick or any of that. I'm not
and
even.
and you're not getting nothing better than Anthony Davis for Luka. They tried to get Anthony Edwards. Timberwolves said no. You try to get Giannis. Giannis Bucks said no. You knew not to call Denver. That's a dead end. What you gonna get? D Book? I'm sorry, but AD is better than D Book. I don't care how old they are. I don't care. He's better
Well,
than him.
there's all of that is speculation. What I would say is there's a way historically that when they decide to move on from a player, they actually take offers from all teams. And when they traded, this was not even a deadline deal. There was another 8 days or so to be able to get something done. And so if you decided that you're moving on from a guy, I'm fine with that. I'm not even saying that they cannot trade Luka. I'm saying, how do you know you got the best deal? And in addition to that, what I would say is even the communication from a public relations standpoint post trade was, I mean, when the owner comes out and says that if you want to take a vacation and don't work for the Dallas Mavericks, seems a
Look,
bit tone deaf. Seems a bit tone deaf considering the history around workplace culture that the Dallas Mavericks have had just in the, just prior to St. Marshall joining the team. They had a good amount. I mean, think about Dunny Nelson. Dunny Nelson left the Dallas Mavericks
no,
under.
you definitely make some great points. My analysis is pertaining to strictly the Luka AD swap. Like you're making great points about how the Mavs has, been treating things after the whole situation. But to
But
me,
I can debunk your statement just by saying LeBron won. Like,
LeBron took care of his body.
well,
See,
what I'm saying,
what I said. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you go.
At 25, I did not take care of my body the way that I do today, and so I do believe that as we grow, we mature, we learn, and Luka has not, from what I can see, and I don't know the guy, and so I it wasn't until after he was gone that we heard any of this, and so why even if he's gone and you're over it, then why even talk about it? Like just the fact of even trying to share any of this post trade to now try to explain to somebody why you as a man made this decision, I believe that's weak.
I don't think giving the fans an explanation is weak.
That wasn't an explanation because they
It is
said,
an explanation.
okay.
It is an explanation. We don't think he takes his. They proved it to you. They traded him in the middle of the night. They proved it to you. I mean,
Those people who did it, what have they done? What
what
type of
have they
success
done?
have they had?
They went to the finals last year.
Okay. Mark Cuban supposedly said Mark Cuban went to the finals last year. He was the guy who was making decisions last year.
Okay,
Mark
so
Cuban.
I'm not talking from an owner perspective. I'm talking about the players.
I'm talking about the personnel decisions are made at a different level. Like I think
Right.
the team as constructed today with a healthy AD is better prepared to perform in the playoffs. I will admit to that.
So
However, if you're going to move on from Luka Doncic, I need to know that you have the path to do that and get max value back.
my thing is, I get it for a lot of Dallas fans. Dallas is actually a very grateful city. They are okay with being competitive. You don't have to win the championship. They only got one championship, but they have a very loyal fan base. They just require you to be competitive, which you cannot say that Luka Doncic hasn't done. They have been competitive, and that's why it stings because there's a chance
They
that
have been competitive.
after.
Luka's been to
No, I
two
said they
NBA
have
finals.
been. I
And
said you can't. What I'm saying is they've been competitive.
that's more
That's
than
all.
competitive.
Okay, there's a lot of luck in there,
That's
but
more. That's more.
they
That's
have,
more than Anthony Edwards has done.
Anthony Edwards has only been in the league 4 years.
How long has Luka been in the league?
At least 6.
Okay, so for 2 more years, Luka has 2 more Western Conference appearances, and
Dallas is historically more competitive than Minnesota.
we're just talking about those 2 players and the difference and the impact. And so,
Right, but
I get your deal on the style.
he had Cat for 3 years or 3 to 2 years. He had an older Mike Conley. Luka has had Kristaps Porzingis. He's had Jalen Brunson. He's had Kyrie Irving. He's had players of a different
He went to
caliber.
the finals with Kyrie in his
Rudy
only
Gobert.
full season.
What was that?
He went to the finals in his only full season with Kyrie. So again,
Right, that's what I just said.
and I like Anthony Edwards, but we still got to take Luka body of work over AE.
I'm gonna take the person who looks in condition. Sorry, that's just me. You got to be in
But
condition.
if that's the case, you
And
just
I
take
didn't.
Terry Crews.
No. See, listen. When I started off, when I put everything on the table, when I said my biases, I listed 3 names. I said James Harden, LeBron James, and Luka Doncic. And then I said, when you add on top of that you're not conditioned. See, that it made me give an appreciation to LeBron James because at least he comes conditioned. You are not taking it seriously. I'm sorry. I'm not saying at 25 he's supposed to have it figured out. I'm not saying this. I'm really not. But when it comes to 70 million, I think you should have it figured out.
Some people could probably say the Joker was a little overweight at one point.
And guess what? The Joker will play himself into shape. The Joker don't get injured either. So
we can't control injuries. I mean, if we want to talk about injuries, then we got to talk about street clothes.
Paul George.
Well, I'm saying if you're not conditioned, there's a better chance you're gonna get injured. That's science.
Aren't you a Kawhi fan, Cameron?
Yeah. And guess what? Kawhi has won. Kawhi has a better resume than Luka's. Don't do that.
Tim Duncan.
Don't do that.
Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan has won. What are you talking about? Are you saying he had Tim Duncan? You're talking about 36-year-old Tim Duncan? That's the one you're talking about?
36-year-old Tim Duncan. Yeah.
Yes.
Stop it.
And Pop. Don't forget about Popovich.
What has Popovich been doing?
No Kawhi. But he's actually done a very respectful job.
Guess what? He's not even coaching right now. He's not coaching right now.
I'm just talking about since then.
No, he has not. They have not done anything with. I mean, last year with Wemby, they still sucked. The year before, without Wemby, they got the number 1 pick. So, what has he been doing?
How long has he been coaching?
He's been coaching a long time, and he's had great players. So, Kawhi is more of benefiting him than he is to Kawhi. Sorry, I'm not letting y'all do that. Kawhi Leonard has done a lot.
No, he hasn't.
With injuries, he has done more.
I'm just saying that.
I said with injuries, he's done more than Luka. Y'all want to compare them right now? Kawhi has a longer career, so he's done more. And he was already a Finals MVP at Luka's age.
On the team with Tim Duncan.
And guess what? Kristaps Porzingis was on his team, and Kristaps Porzingis went to another team and won a championship against him.
So I'm not comparing the 2 players, but I would probably say that if Greg Popovich could have chose between Kawhi Leonard and Luka Doncic, understanding his love for foreign players, there's a strong possibility that at 21, 22 years old, he would have taken Luka.
Well, I know Rick Carlisle didn't choose him. He chose Tyrese Halliburton. Tyrese Halliburton.
Would you still do
He left him at 22.
Would you do that?
No, the common denominator is run away. This guy is very talented, but the common denominator is they realize they can't win with him. Well, that's what it is.
Well, just because you can't win with him doesn't mean someone else can.
All right, we'll see. We'll see. So, JJ Redick, we'll see.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying anything about JJ. I'm not saying anything about him.
I'm not either. I'm saying we'll see.
All I'm saying is we saw Luka. Not
I
only did
definitely
we see
thought.
Luka, we felt Luka. You didn't like the way Luka played, and I did not like some of the things about Luka's game as well. However, as a 25-year-old asset, we have to make sure we get the value back for that. So, what else we got? We're wrapping, coming up on the end. What else we got? We're gonna wrap about today.
So we got the way too early picks. Give me, what teams do you expect to see in the Eastern Conference Finals and the winner, and in the Western Conference Finals in the winner, and then therefore after, who would you crown as the way too early prediction for NBA champions? Nixon, you got
Mm.
any ideas or thoughts on that?
I don't really pay attention to basketball, honestly. Y'all can talk about that.
All right. What about you, Tech P?
Tech P. The Celtics are going to be tough out the East. Cleveland has done very, very well with all of those assets that they've acquired, and they're playing great. But they don't really have that pedigree of playing as a team going deep in the playoffs. Milwaukee got old all of a sudden, it seemed, and so I don't know if they're playing that brand of basketball to where they just kind of just go 70% into the playoffs and then they try to turn it on. So we'll see. So I think those are kind of my thoughts around the East. West, the Thunder look real strong. The Thunder and Boston look like the two strongest teams. But then you have Denver, and that's about it. As those are the only two teams that I can see possibly doing something out of the West. What are your thoughts?
I think if I had to choose the Eastern Conference Finals right now, it will end up being the Cavs versus the Celtics, with the Cavs with home court advantage.
Mm-hmm.
I see it going 7 games, but I will take the Celtics to win in 7 games. Or actually, I'll take them in 6 games. I think if it goes to 7, the Cavs might squeak it out. But I think the Celtics could win that in 6 games if they get there. So I'll take the Celtics out of the East. And in the Western Conference Finals, I don't have an exact look at what the seating is right now, but I'm gonna take my non-biased pick of the Clippers out of there because I still have not seen Kawhi healthy at all, or like to the level that he needs to be. I will say I'm taking the Mavs. I'm expecting AD to come back. I'm taking the Mavs versus Denver in the Western Conference Finals. Now, if AD is back, I'm going to say the Mavs make it, because what the weakness is for the Denver Nuggets are point guards. And so that's why the Lakers could never do anything with them, because they didn't have a guard. And Anthony Edwards kind of acted as that that position last year for them in the playoffs. And I think that Kyrie Irving will be able to do a lot of things against that team. They have a lot of good guard defenders, and they got, 2 big men, if healthy, to combat the Joker. So I'm going to take the Mavs, if healthy. And then I'm going to take the rematch. I think the Mavs have the 2 best players on the court. I'm going to always go with the best 2 out of 3 players on the court. And I think Kyrie is better than Jaylen Brown. I think they're both better. I think Kyrie and AD is better than Tatum. They're better than that whole team. The Joker, I think the Joker's better than both of them. But I don't think that Jamal Murray is, Kyrie. So I'm going with the Mavs winning the championship this year in 6 to rectify and show people why you make the trade and get the guy who won't change out of there. I'm being very nice today.
If the Dallas Mavericks were to win the championship this year, that would really mend some fences. And I I definitely want to see well wishes come to everybody, and so I like that story.
Now if they're not healthy, I'm taking Denver. Basically, I'm saying Celtics, you're facing somebody real this year. You don't get game 3 Luka. You're facing a real opponent this year. We're going to put you to the test, and I got them failing the test against a real opponent this year.
Well, let me ask you this: what do you think about who's better? And I think I know. No, would you trade Jaylen Brown for Luka?
Nope.
Which team are you? You're saying if you're the Celtics, you wouldn't.
Yeah, but I probably wouldn't have done it if I was the Mavs either. But I wouldn't do it for Jaylen Brown.
It's not enough.
I think Jaylen Brown is really great with the team that he has around him. I'm not saying he can't be better, but you know, he has a lot that he can depend on. So I can't really. I'm not a potential guy. I don't do potential. I don't do every year they're getting better.
Bring him to the Dallas Mavericks alongside Kyrie, PJ, Gafford.
For me, that team would need another
Clay.
piece.
It still needs another piece.
I think this team right now, they're good enough. They're good enough. They could do it. Will they do it? We'll see. We'll see if they stay healthy. But I think they're good enough right now.
But with Jaylen Brown, you get rid of that if they stay healthy piece, a big piece of it.
No, because Daniel Gafford is injured. Lively is injured. So, well, it's still a health thing with them. And I just don't think he's as good as Anthony Davis. I mean, you could check the final stats. Jaylen Brown won a finals MVP, but his final stats ain't Anthony Davis final stats, and he was snubbed of his finals MVP. So this is a actual should have been finals MVP and NBA champion that people are griping about. Hopefully he's able to come back and show you guys and give y'all a reminder what it's like to play with a player that's not so ball dominant, that needs the ball all the time. Because we did not mention how Luka and LeBron has looked so far. Everybody's give it time. They both need the ball.
I haven't watched a single second of it.
I've watched both games against the Jazz, and it don't look that great. So
I can imagine. We gotta work it out. We'll see. What else
All
we
right.
got? We wrapping up.
Last question. We're actually gonna make it full circle. We started with the Super Bowl halftime. Was it good or bad? And now we're circling back to, some could say, someone who was a victim of the Super Bowl halftime. Aubrey Graham, known as Drake. I've listened to the album that has come out. They have not. I sent my dad one song, so he's probably heard one song. But can Drizzy survive? And will you listen to this new album? And what do you expect from Drizzy?
Okay. Nixon, are you jumping in?
I don't know who was going first, but yeah, I'll go first. I will listen to it eventually. I don't know when that will be, but I'm hoping it'll be good. I listened to a snippet of it yesterday.
You're supposed to be the Drake fan of the, you're the Drake representative of the show.
Yeah, but I'll listen to it maybe today, tomorrow. I listened to a snippet. I think the song was called Nokia. I only listened to the beginning of it, so I need to. Yeah, I'll listen to it, and I think Drake will survive just because his music is usually good, and that's really all people care about.
All right, Tech P, what do you think?
I think he will survive. All of this is somewhat manufactured, not real, made for TV type stuff. Then he may, his ego may be hurt or whatever. But in large, it's just a distraction. Drake has a media machine behind him and a set of people that depend on Drake to be successful in order for them to be successful. And so Uh, Drake and LeBron. I mean, one thing we didn't talk about is LeBron's surprise not playing in the All-Star game right before tip-off move yesterday, um, which I thought was, I mean, if there's a chance that you're not going to play, then why not give that opportunity to some other, maybe first-time All-Star? And so I didn't like that move. But those two kind of remind me of one another. Not in that they fraternize or whatever, but they're two titans in their industry that make decisions that are best for them and their crew. And so I do think that Drake will deal his way out of this. And there's a whole group of folks that have made it very, very clear that they didn't care for what Kendrick has to say. And so as long as Drake will come out and say what they want him to say, then they will sign up for Drake.
So I would say this. If we're saying will Drake survive, I think he'll be able to make music, and if that's the meaning of survive. But if survive is meaning being able to hold the place that he's held for the last 10 years or so in the music industry and in the rap game as like the selling artist, the top selling artist, I think those days are done. Um, you know, I don't see, I've listened to his new project. There's a few songs that I like, and it's, some cool background noises in some places. But as far as number one selling, unless he signs that deal, he doesn't get the same, media push that, you mentioned earlier in your statement. I don't think he gets, I'm not saying he could be even making his own music, but Drake was making pretty much great music before, So Far Gone, but he didn't have that behind him. So if he does not get that deal done, I don't see him returning to the top or surviving in that way. And yeah, there's not really much for him to upgrade his standing. Everything has a cycle. And I do agree with you that him and LeBron are very, very similar. And I think that is coming around to that might bite LeBron to the destruction, the lofty destruction of, their relationships, to prove points. I think, and I don't know these things for facts. These are all just insinuations from things that I gauge, but it seems as though both of them are the same way. I really agree with that statement. And I think that I will say this vaguely: the way that you treat others and be mindful, no one is perfect, but these things will come back to you. Whether you're down on your luck and somebody lends you a hand because of how you treated them, or people remember, how you left Cleveland in that way, or you were holding the league hostage in some situations, or your team hostage. Same with Drake, allegedly, I'll just go off of what you talk about in your songs, enticing other people's girls and this, that, and the other, and, uh, being the way that you move. So, we will see how it turns out. I would answer that question and say no, and that's kind of in respect to what Drake was as well.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean, as far as him being able to make money, he'll still be able to make money. There'll still be a place for him. But I never really believed in the whole uh, Drake as the greatest of all time. That was never. I thought that him as an artist and his artistry, the way that he composed and put things together and brought people together to produce a product, I thought it was a really good product. Um, and so, I mean, I've even had thoughts about either him ghostwriting or the team that he has ghostwriting. Like, it's a really cool group. They say some really fun things. I mean, I think they've maybe even outsourced, in my mind, out to Kanye before. When I'm listening to them, it seemed like may have been beefing, but the joke would have been on us because they were actually working together. It's kind of how it seemed to me. But Kanye has gone off, and now he's taken a very direct path. and not many people get it or understand it. And so Drake is now got a new rival, Kendrick, that didn't go like he thought it would. And now I saw a video of him playing the song that he filed a lawsuit about at his concert. And so
It was probably AI. It was probably AI.
Hey, listen, that's why I say I saw. I didn't say Drake did it. I say I saw it. And that's part of, again, if we're gonna close it, let's close it like I opened it. Part of the reason why we do this is so that people can have authentic connection and conversations. And of course, I get to do it with two brilliant young minds to talk about things that they're interested in. And this is because this actually looks and feels real. People can tell the difference rather than it being some type of cookie cutter AI type of thing. And so, again, I don't know. I do think that those people use all of those different tools, and we don't know if they use them for the best intention. So with that being said, yes, Drake will do something. I'm not watching. I haven't listened to the album. You sent me the song and I responded back like, what is this?
Yeah, and usually if I send him a song, if the response is, what did you think? He's basically telling me he did not like it. Because if it's good, he'll send something else. But if he says, what do you think? That means he did not like it. And I liked it when I first heard it because, you know, I had been, you know, I had a little buzz, and when it first came on, like the first listen, it was cool. And then I listened to it in the morning, and I was like, that song has been a skip for me every time. Everybody's loving that song. Hey, shout out to Drake and his fans and his supporters. Me personally, I don't like the song, but you know,
and it wasn't a hard pass for me. It just wasn't something that showed much creativity. And so in the track that he kind of like, it came out of nowhere to sample, but it wasn't really a sample. It was the same track. I mean, like it was, where was 40 at on this one? I mean, like there was no, it's like,
where's 40?
I haven't listened to the whole album, but that one sounded like there was no 40 on it. And so, yeah, that's where I'm at. Let's keep it going. So, Nixon, do you have anything to say in closing, sir?
See you next time.
Do you have COVID or not? Are we in COVID protocol or what are we doing here?
No, I don't got COVID.
But what's the mask for then?
I already run it because we're doing the test. But yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Cameron, take us home, brother.
All right. I'm just going to do a quick recap. Super Bowl halftime. I think it was good. Great art. Great individualism. Super Bowl. Pat Mahomes. You got some work to do. It's about to get real. Eagles dynasty. Cowboys. AD Luka. AD. Way too early picks. Boston Mavs. Boston Nuggets. Boston loses either way. And can Drizzy survive? He will survive, but he will not be the same guy. So that's all I got to say about that. And that's a wrap.
See ya.
Podcast table.
What will it take tonight?
The horse is prepared for battle, but victory comes from the Lord. So I'm dependent on the Lord.
Is that the message to the team?
Day by day, one play at a time. Play at a time. That's the message.
Want to create a new place for you to explore it. The algorithm exporting what is important. Tech P a portion in accordance, but it's all anointed. We welcome you to come get a portion.
Join us.
No more everyday Bron versus Jordan. Jameis said the victory comes from the Lord, but we still prepare the horses. It's the podcast table. We got more horsepower than Ralph Lauren. They go live and talk reckless, no reporting. I go live and talk facts, but they wanna report me. But that won't stop the context, the complex on my conscience for the record, so I will press recording. My story, his story, we so historic. Silver spoon from above, you mad about euphoric? We talk ball, talk bars, talk all. They talk clown, talk down, talk foul, no call. I am one, they tantrum, tech P, tech please. No referees, but the reference is reverence. So I guess then I earn my stripes and just treat me like the whistle. Stop and listen, it's a new episode to witness. The horses lined up like they competing for the Kentucky Derby. 30 for 30 high like the rappers where you see the jersey.
We don't see your jersey.
Come holla at me.